Hola YouTube. It's been a while, probably been, since 2016 since I last recorded a video. Originally I intended this channel to be Pokemon based and to play Pokemon games like such as walkthroughs, talk about what my favorite Pokemon are and so forth. But there's a topic that I've sort of been closeted about and I've kept to myself for quite a while. And I just feel like sharing it. Maybe it may help somebody struggling out there who is suffering from the same addiction. So, what I'm talking about is an addiction to porn and masturbation. So, for starters, I've had this addiction, probably going back 14 years. And for the first time in my life, I'm admitting that to myself that this is a problem and it needs to be addressed and it needs to be changed. So far, I've been porn free for about 31 days. I have noticed I've been more apt to start YouTube again, something that I would tell people at work, hey, I'm going to post a video on my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Well, now it's top 8 favorite Pokemon, but anyway, that'll be in the next video. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is I would say I'm going to do something and something would stump me. Like my confidence would just go down the drain, especially with girls and stuff like that. I'm 28 years old. I live on my own now, and I currently go to Texas A&M, so that's nice. I'm really glad I got this opportunity to pursue a college career because 10 years ago, if somebody asked me in high school, do you plan on going to college? I'd be like, nah, I want to make music. Like that guitar in the background. I've had that guitar since I was 17 years old, and I am just now getting to the point where I want to learn how to play it. Oh, and it's an acoustic guitar. So, but anyway, going back to the porn addiction. So, I analyzed the root of a lot of addiction problems usually stems from a void that at least in my case, I needed to find something to fill it. The emptiness inside of me, something to get that release so I could escape from reality, just if it were for only for a moment. So when I was 14, my dad passed away, and my dad and I were really close. We collected Pokemon cards together. He owned a installation business. He would go to people's houses and install satellites for DirecTV and Dish Network in the early 2000s. And when he would go on these install trips, he would take me with him. He'd also take me to the office, when he had to work late nights, and we'd build, like, I remember he had this huge Navy ship in his office called the USS Kitty Hawk. And I mean, this thing was freaking huge. I know I got my cat in the background. His name's Reese's. He's part Mancoon, so he's like freaking big. But anyway, this ship is freaking huge, and I just remember it took like, I think 2 weeks to build it, and we built another one, or I think he did, but instead of like building it so it wouldn't break, because I remember the Kitty Hawk fell off the shelf in his office and it busted into a million pieces, and he super glued the other one together. So I remember that. But anyway, my dad and I were really close. He even coached baseball games, and I would be, a part of the team playing baseball. And I remember after every game, I'd go stop by 7-Eleven, open up a Pokemon card pack, get a Gatorade, and a chocolate energy bar. And man, those were awesome. And my brother was with me, so those are really cool. But anyway, my dad was a really good father, and around when I turned 13, he got addicted to painkillers, and it mixed it with alcohol. And things started to go really downhill from there. My parents have been split up since I was little. They each remarried, but my biological mother and father split when I was only 2 years old. So my mom at the time, she she had she was mainly head level headed. She did have a painkiller problem too, but it wasn't as severe as my dad's. My dad was like very far gone. I mean, he was mixing it with alcohol. My mom even moved in with him to try and make it work just to get me and my brother out of there, at least out of his custody. She managed to get me out of his custody because I signed a paper. I was 14 years old, and at the time, there was like, if you're 14, you could choose which parent you want to live with. So I moved in with my mom, and my brother was stuck with my dad in that predicament. And he was stuck there for at least over half a year. And to this day, he's 26 years old, and it still messes with his head. So it's some pretty serious stuff. And my mom, when she moved in with him, she saw how sick he was. She was only there for a few months, and she's like, "Yeah, I got to get my babies out of here, and you know, get them away from this guy." But anyway, he went really downhill. I remember I got a birthday present. It was a baseball signed by Alex Rodriguez. He'd given to me for my 12th birthday, or maybe it was my 13th birthday. I don't know. Anyway, it was either 12th or 13th birthday. And when I was 14, I was going to a different middle school, and I became best friends with this guy named Gabriel. Well, I was gonna go over to Gabriel's apartment, and I was like, "Hey, I got wind that my dad might try to steal my baseball bat and try to sell it at a pawn shop to buy more drugs. Can I hide it in your apartment?" So we hid it in his closet, and police came over to my mom's house to get stolen property, which was my baseball. That was my birthday gift. So they didn't find it, but I was like, "Oh, he's not going to try to take it." So I brought it back, and then he took it. So that hurt me a lot, especially since this isn't, a lot of, or not a lot of people, but some people I know that they grow up with an alcoholic father. He's been a really bad dad since day one. And my dad was not that. My dad was my hero. He was the role model. He was somebody I aspired to be. And when it's kind of like Anakin, I guess, when he turned to the dark side, how he was a hero of the Clone Wars and everybody admired him, and then he just turned to evil. That's sort of what happened here. So that really hurt in a lot of ways. Of course, I hadn't turned to porn just yet because I hadn't discovered it. But I remember I also had a Charizard card when I was, let's see. Yeah, I was around the same age. I got it when I was 12. I actually pulled it. No, my dad and I got it in a card shop. We bought it for $100, and it is the Charizard Shadowless First Edition. That's worth thousands of dollars right now. By the way, I have it again, not the same card, but I have a Charizard First Edition Shadowless. I bought it 5 years ago for $650 from a guy on eBay, and it's PSA graded at a 6. So I'll make another video showing off my Pokemon cards. So and if I get off topic, it's just I'm doing this video in the raw, so it's you could stick around, listen. This may be 40 minutes to an hour long. I don't know. It's this is my first video I'm posting on YouTube, just to kind of describe my be open with the public. It kind of helps me since I don't really have a counselor or anything to talk to. Anyway, I left that card at my father's house when I moved in with my mom. And when I came back to visit my dad to see how my brother was doing, the card was gone. And it was nowhere to be found. So I lost that card for over 10 years. And I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, I have the same card. It's graded. It's not the exact same card, but you get the point. It's a Charizard First Edition Shadowless, so nonetheless, it's worth quite a bit now, and it's an investment for me. So I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. And it's kind of like a memory keepsake, you know. It kind of reminds me of the old days. Like I don't have it on me. I'll have to show you in another video, but I have a race car, and I usually carry it on me. It's in my drawer, and it's a race car that I took from my brother Dylan when I was 4 years old, or maybe I was six. Yeah, I was 6 years old and he was four, and he got a Hot Wheels race car, and I thought it was the coolest thing on the planet, so I kept taking it. And then I think later that year, he's like, you know, you like it so much, why don't you just keep it? So I've literally had that race car. Like, that race car has survived a house fire. It survived, you know, foreclosures. It survived, you know, people throwing my crap out on the front lawn. You know, I've lost stuff. I've sold stuff. I burned stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff. It's like everything in my room I have today. I'm lucky I still have some of this stuff that's lasted over 10 years, like this guitar, um, and the race car that my brother gave me. So those are kind of just like little mementos. I collect other stuff, but you know, I could easily part with that. But stuff like my guitar and the race car and, you know, the Charizard card, it's not really as easy to you know, get rid of that stuff. But going on to that, my dad continued down this really bad path. Eventually, my mom did get my brother back with her, and at this time, I was about halfway through my 8th grade year. And I remember I was getting off the bus one day, and before this happened, my dad said I've always been really close to my mom's parents, my grandfather and my grandma. Mama and Papa is what I refer to them as. And this really hurt me because I've always been really close to Papa. I've really admired that man so much that if I have a daughter, I'm going to take his middle name, Eli, and I plan on naming her Elena, spelled Elaina. So that way it's still got Eli in it. But anyway, I really admire this person, and my father, another person who was supposed to be my hero, my best friend, said that that person was molesting me when I was 14. And that really hurt because my dad knew how close I was to Pawpaw and how close I still am to Pawpaw, you know, and that really, yeah, you know, it really ate at me. Um, so I remember I got off the bus and I was gonna go hang out with Gabriel and my other friend named Chris. But I was really good friends with Gabriel. Um, and my dad was at my mom's house. When the bus dropped me off, he's like, "Come on, you're coming with me, son." I told him, "No, get away from me." And he didn't like touch me, but he still kept trying to get me to go with him. And for the first time in my life, I had never really been good at standing up for myself and expressing how I really feel. And I'm not sure if you guys are into Harry Potter, but by the way, I'm a Gryffindor. So my inner Harry had enough at that point, and I literally turned around and I lashed out in anger at him. I was like, "I am not getting in that effing car with you. I hope you effing die. I don't love you anymore. Go away. I never want to see you again." And my dad was with my grandma at the point. And I remember the rush of anger I felt, but also hurt saying that. And my dad left. and I didn't see him again. A week later, I kind of just, I tuned it out. I ignored it all. I got a call into my counselor's office, and they had told me that my dad passed away. And he was 35 years old at the time. And what had happened was he robbed a pawn shop at gunpoint. He was probably still under the influence of painkillers and alcohol. And he got arrested, obviously. He went to jail. There's all sorts of stories, but from what the mortician found, he scratched the paint off the wall and ate it and died from the withdrawals. The ambulance came, they brought him back once, but then they couldn't bring him back a second time. So he died alone, and well, he wasn't alone, but he didn't have me or any family members there. So I remember I was extremely hurt. I felt betrayed. I felt like, it's weird, but when you're that close to someone, it's like a part of you dies with them, and it changes you, especially when it happens to you when you're just a kid, and you have to be the parent. You have to show your parents how to be mature, So from going there, I didn't really I kind of listened to a lot of Eminem, and I phased out everything. And around that same time, I started, going through puberty, and I started masturbating. And then I found out what porn was. And for me, that was sort of an escape, to get away from all this, to escape from reality. I just lost my best friend. And worst of all, that best friend betrayed me, stabbed me in the back, and I didn't get closure. I, still don't have that closure. So it's just, it's bad, man. Really is. I mean, if you have a parent out there, even if they're an alcoholic or a drug addict, and they're alive still, and you can make things right, please make amends. Because when you go off the deep end like that, and then they die, that's it. Maybe in the next life you'll get to see them again one more time to get that closure. At least when I part, that's going to be one of the first things I ask for, is closure with my dad. If he, I don't know, reincarnated, went somewhere else, whatever, so be it. But I need that closure. I need it. Eventually. So, but obviously I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but if you feel just even one bit of, at least close it. At least have one more conversation with that mom, dad, friend, whatever you've had on bad terms, because when you don't, it sucks. It really does. Take it from someone who, I know it doesn't seem like I'm showing emotion, but it sucks. It really does. So anyway, I dove really deep into that, and it started out like just normal, pornography, but then it moved on to, girls with penises, and then it moved on to I need a harder fix, and then it moved on to BDSM, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And when you're doing it in public, not where people see you, obviously, but when you're doing it, when you're masturbating in public, and then you're stalking girls that you find attractive, And you stop for a minute and you ask yourself, what the hell am I doing? Like, something is wrong with me. That is where it becomes an issue. And I'm not really going to hammer so much to masturbating as porn. Porn, I believe, is a major issue. I believe, personally, it's a drug because it does release dopamine and it tells your brain you're having sex with whoever you're watching having sex. But, in a very unnatural way. I'm not sure about you guys, but whenever I would, do the deed to porn, I would feel shame, I would feel guilt, and eventually it stopped being pleasurable. Eventually it just led to, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to quit. I remember I got married a couple of years ago, right before I deployed, and there were other issues that led up to us splitting up, but one of the biggest issues, at least on my end, was porn. Especially when I got deployed, I would talk to my wife on video camera and stuff, but we didn't have that physical interaction that my body craved for. So I resorted to my old habits. And when I came home and I tried to make love to my wife, it wasn't the same. I couldn't appreciate her body for what she had. I couldn't appreciate her personality. Of course, there were other issues. It's like, I don't want to get too much into it, but she has, or I don't know if she still has it, but at the time she had a lot of depression and low self-esteem issues. So that kind of killed my libido a lot and my interest because, the real me, I'm a go-getter, and as a life partner, I'm looking for someone that is a go-getter as well. If I want to go for a run, I want someone to go for a run with me. If I want to go hike up a mountain, I want someone to hike up a mountain with me. If I, want to be competitive, I want someone who's not afraid of the competition and will step up to the plate and, be competitive with me. And now that I'm on a spiritual path, I'm not really seeking. I'm kind of just going to let it come to me, I guess, if that makes sense. But they have to be, I guess, par on par with, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if you like someone but they're not really on the same life path as you, at least in my case, it's not going to work out. So if I'm going to be with somebody, they have to be on the same life path as me. Anyway, moving on from that, it just got really bad, and I just don't see any, and 30 days ago, I kind of just had, or a couple months ago, I started getting big into meditation again, and I found these beats that they activate certain brain waves that go through your brain, and they're supposed to trigger like the different chakra points, like the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, and so on. So what I found is these beats were like, I don't know, they were sort of calling to me. And a week before my wife and I split up, we were in a trip in Austin, and we stopped by Earthbound, and we got some crystals. And the crystals we got, we just picked out for each other. She gave me one called citrine, and I didn't really understand it at the time, but I carried it on me, nonstop. But I always had like this negative energy with me, like this dark cloud just hovering over me, and it's like I couldn't escape my past. And, she would try to tell me, well, your past isn't what defines you. And I didn't really understand that at the time. But I understand it now. I really do, because from what I take it, is I was living in the past. It sucks, but you have to move on. You can't live in the past and you can't live in the future. It destroys you living in the present, trying to enjoy the little things in life, like spending time with my cats, or finally I'm making YouTube videos again. This is something I've talked about for 5 years and I haven't done anything. And this video is going to be completely raw, but it's something I really wanted to do. Like, I had a passion for 5 years ago, and it's just like this stuff was holding me back. It wasn't just porn, it was just the negative energy. It's like just clinging on a depression. I was depressed, and just clinging on to that depression. It's addictive. It's dangerous. Stay away from it. Anyway, if there's anything I've learned in the 28 years I've been on Earth, is I don't believe any amount of money, anybody you choose to spend the rest of your life with, friends, family, fancy car, fancy house, traveling the world, those are great experiences, but none of them will make you happy. You have to choose to be happy. You really do. It is a choice. Just like everything in life is a choice. If you want to choose to commit a good act, or you would choose to commit an evil act. If you choose to give in to, your weaknesses, such as, like, if I get an urge to watch porn, I'll be given into that. Therefore, it makes me weak. It makes me a simp. And I have to look at it in the face and say no. And, and it's this spiritual journey has sort of like turned my life around a lot. I've started, actually eating healthy. Last time I had Whataburger was 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago at this point. In the past 4 weeks, I've only had one, I would consider fast food, and some Sam's Club pizza and a hot dog, and it tasted like Pam spray oil. It was really gross. I don't know. I just didn't like it. But I've also converted to taking cold showers. Today I took a warm shower just because cold showers sort of wake you up, and since I'm doing college and I work overnight, my sleep schedule is kind of jacked up. But anyway, I took a warm shower because class was about to start, but right after class I'm going to bed, so I could stay up at night. So I didn't want to take a cold shower to, keep me awake. So I just took a warm shower. But cold showers also kill my sexual urges, so that's good. In the past 30 days, I will admit I've masturbated twice, but I have not gone back to porn at all. Masturbation is something I think that at least for me, it hinders my growth spiritually, I believe, but I don't think it's inflicting extremely negative harm, or harm in such a negative way as porn was. Porn, it obstructed my view of women. It obstructed my view of people in general. Like, kind of like they were Decepticons and I was an Autobot, or, something like that. You view everybody like they're a computer program, or the people you see in porn. It's not just women. It affects you become socially awkward, socially distant. You ever notice when you go to the grocery store, or not the grocery store, but when you go somewhere in public, everybody's on their cell phone, social media? It's like people don't know how to talk to each other. And, I know COVID hasn't made things easy, but like, for God's sakes, man, like, it's really hard to have a conversation with somebody when they're so sucked into watching TikTok or Instagram, and they're just pictures. They're edited videos and pictures. That's all they are. They're not real people. They're like, just because you see a girl on Instagram be like, oh, I bet she's like that in real life. I doubt it. Maybe she likes biology. Maybe she likes chemistry. You never know. Maybe she's big into like paleontology. She likes dinosaur bones, or she likes the evolution of how dinosaurs were brought up. Speaking of which, even though I'm a math major and computer science minor, one thing I actually really want to do is travel the world and study ancient archaeology. So, like the pyramids and the Egyptians and how they lived back then. And especially ancient Greece. I'm really interested in learning about ancient Greece. I want to visit the Roman Colosseum. I want to visit ancient Greece, like the old cities and city of Athens and stuff like that. I'm really into that stuff. But anyway, I figured a math degree would be good with a computer science minor, so that way I could get a job where I make the money so I can do that stuff. I've reached a point in my life where I don't really want a fancy car. I've had a Jeep Wrangler. I split up with my wife. I gave it to her because I didn't want to fight. I was like, look, you could have it. You use it to pay off your car or whatever. But anyway, the I guess what I've learned since when you have a bunch of money, but then you either spend it out or lose it all, and when you have family and friends, but that gets taken away from you too, in a weird way, it makes you stronger. It makes you realize the important things in life, Like, I don't really have, I guess, a normal family, or, where at Christmas time, mom and dad get together and, there's like 50 people in one house and you have all your grandparents there and stuff like that. My family's been kind of ripped into several pieces, so that's going to be an interesting topic for another video. But anyway, this video is just talking about, I guess, my closeted addiction and what it's done and stuff like that. And obviously, you can leave comments and, I guess, talk about more stuff. But I just want to take this time to say thank you for listening. If you did listen to this whole video, as I said, if I seem a little awkward in front of the camera, it's just because it's my first video in like 5 years. So thank you for listening, and if my cats are annoying, I apologize. Future videos, they may or may not be raw. I don't know. It's the next video I'm going to be posting is my top 8 favorite Pokemon, and that video will not be raw. I actually want to edit it, and I want to put pictures of the Pokemon and their biographies and stuff like that. I'm not going to make it that long, but it's going to be an interesting video because I'm very passionate about Pokemon. And I'll make other videos. This channel, I have a lightsaber I bought, but I had to send it back because I accidentally broke it. So, luckily, the company I bought it from is going to repair it. So, but anyway, I'll talk about like my lightsabers, I don't know, guitar. It'll just be random, videos. I'm going to post 2 a week, see how it goes. I don't think anything will ever be like, the same, or I guess the only video I'll probably, since I'm really passionate about it, I'll make a video about Pokemon once a week, So whether it be a playthrough, top 5 favorite fire Pokemon, well, I don't like doing top 5 and top 10. I like doing top 4 and top 8 because my favorite number is 8. And usually when I'm a trainer, or if I consider myself a trainer, by the way, my favorite Pokemon is Togekiss. And it used to not be my favorite Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon was actually a tie between Snorlax and Bulbasaur, because Bulbasaur was the first Pokemon I ever had. But Togekiss, I came in number 1 because Togekiss, I named this particular Pokemon after my best friend from middle school, Gabriel. He passed away last year, and Gabriel was named after the angel Gabriel. So since Togekiss is an angelic Pokemon, I thought it was really cool to name him Gabe after Gabriel. So, and that particular figure I just showed you, I literally carry everywhere with me. I carry it to work, school. If I go visit someone, it's in my pocket. I'm pretty sure when I die, it'll be in my pocket. So, yeah, it kind of keeps me comfort. Kind of like my friend's watching over me, like he's my guardian angel now, and he keeps away the bad spirits, the negative spirits. So, I feel a lot more positive though since I quit porn. I'm still trying to get rid of masturbation too, though. But that so far it's been 10 days, so I'm going 10 days strong. So that's good. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later, and peace.